So, following the 55 redundancies at the club yesterday, what does it mean for the future? Hello and welcome back to my channel over and over and over again, which focuses on all things connected to Arsenal. Now, as you may be aware, yesterday the club announced that there would be 55 members of staff being made redundant, and it does seem to have been quite a lot of overreaction to the situation. I just really wanted to do a quick video, really, just trying to get to the bottom of it all. What you got to bear in mind is these members of staff haven't been sacked, they haven't been kicked out of the club, they've been made redundant, which means that their job no longer exists. Now, a lot of that could be part of the fact that the club shop at Finsbury Park shut down, didn't it, quite recently? I mean, the retail trade in general has really suffered, hasn't it, in all this COVID-19 situation that we've had, with shops shutting down for all that sort of 3 or 4 month period. And Arsenal shop's going to be in no different situation. So a lot of these jobs, whether it's at maybe the ticket office, whether it's on stuff on a match day, whether it's all kinds of stuff like that, which has their jobs now are no longer viable. They're just not there anymore. So it's no good blaming the players. It's no good blaming the owners. It's no good looking at saying, well, if the players wasn't paid as much, then the money could have gone to pay these other people. But their job doesn't exist. That's the whole point. Jobs have been lost. Jobs have disappeared because of the whole economic crisis that we've found ourselves in over the last few months. Now, my understanding of it is Arsenal tried everything they could to keep as many members of staff as possible. The players took a 12.5% pay decrease, as far as I'm aware. And the idea of that was so that they could keep as many staff on as possible. The club have never applied for any government grants or anything like that. They've paid full wages to all of the staff throughout all this, even though their income would have been greatly reduced. And I say a lot of these jobs would have almost completely disappeared. So the club have tried to do everything possible that they could to look after the people, but unfortunately, it's got to the point now where, as a lot of businesses are now finding, the jobs just aren't there anymore. That particular role doesn't exist. And unfortunately, that's the situation. So thousands of other people are in exactly the same situation now. I feel desperately sorry for everybody that's been affected by this. I've been in situations in the past where I've been made redundant from jobs, and it's terrible. It's a terrible situation. But unfortunately, it happens. And some of the ridiculous things I've been reading, I mean, the press in particular have been all over the Mesut Ozil contract and stuff like that. But let's just say the club's like, okay, yeah, let's get rid of Mesut Ozil. They're going to have to pay his contract off. That's going to cost more money than, unfortunately, making these 55 members of staff redundant, isn't it? So that's not a financial viable thing to do. Unfortunately, contract law means that you can't just get rid of someone on a contract without paying it off. So the club have been a bit tired with all of that. I mean, I believe that the club have tried to do the right thing all the way through this. You can't blame the owners for this. You can't blame the players for this. It's just, unfortunately, the economic situation. And many businesses are suffering and have suffered, and many people have lost their jobs. And it's a sad situation that we're all in, really. I mean, I don't think when all this started, any of us could have foreseen that it would last this long. And even now they're talking about new lockdowns coming in and things shutting down again, and there's so much uncertainty that it's difficult for businesses to predict what might be happening. And unfortunately, Arsenal now in this situation where a lot of these jobs, I say, have gone. Um, what it means in terms of us moving forward, in terms of transfers and player recruitment and all that kind of stuff, we'll have to wait and see. We just don't really know, do we? I mean, I'm sure it's going to have an effect on every single club. I don't think clubs are going to be spending as much money in this summer window as they would normally have done. Some clubs probably won't be able to spend anything at all. I'm sure we'll have to sell a few players to get some in, and that might be what we have to do. But let's just hope that it doesn't affect Mikel Arteta's plans too much, because we've had a positive end to the season. I think we can see the direction that Mikel Arteta is going to take the club in, but it's possible that maybe that might have to be slightly put on hold temporarily while we all get through this situation. I mean, it seems unlikely to me that fans are going to be allowed back in the stadiums again before Christmas. I just can't see that happening, and even if it does, it's only going to be on very small numbers anyway. So there's no you can't really see the end of all this, when all this might end. So unfortunately, the club have had to make this decision. So I say, let's just try to keep it in perspective. Let's try and understand, their jobs don't exist anymore. The club haven't done a bad thing by their staff. They've tried to do everything they can to protect as many jobs as possible. But unfortunately, like in many, many other businesses, they just haven't been able to do it. And I say my heart goes out to everyone that's been affected, because I understand what it's like. But unfortunately, there's nothing that could have been done. Let's just hope that this whole situation can be turned around. We can get through this, and things can start to pick up again for all businesses, really. But in particular, obviously, from our point of view, that obviously Arsenal can come through this, and still come out the other side, and we can still be competitive on the pitch. But I say at the moment, we don't really know what's going to happen, do we? So I just really want to make this video, really just to try to make people understand that, the owners of the club aren't to blame, the players aren't to blame. It's just the economic situation, and obviously the whole crisis that the whole country, the whole world's been suffering from this year, and we're now kind of suffering as well. So anyway, we'll hopefully come back later on in the week with a bit more positive news. I will look at a few more of the transfer targets that we're looking at. Whether we'll be able to get anybody in, we don't know yet, but it won't stop us talking about the prospects of it anyway. So stay tuned for that. Like I say, put in the comments as well anything that you want to add to this redundancy situation. But I say until next time, come on, you Gunners.